Once again, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Ask an Alumni series. My name is Olivera Ivanovich. I'm the director of the LLM and Master's program at the University of San Francisco. Today, we'll be joined by an alum and our associate director, who I will allow to introduce themselves in a moment because I won't do either of them justice. I will be monitoring the Q&A in the chat today. So if you do have questions, please feel free to put them in either the Q&A in the chat, so that you can get all the information you need to decide to join us at the University of San Francisco. With that, I'll turn it over to our esteemed guest and our host for the day, Julianne.
Well, good morning from San Francisco, and good afternoon or good night wherever you are. My name is Julianne Cartwright Traylor. I'm Associate Director of International Programs here at the University of San Francisco School of Law. I've been in higher education for more than 16 years now, and I enjoy working with lawyers who apply to come to our LLM program here at USF, and to work with them through the application process, the admissions process, the enrollment process, and even with them after they graduate as alums. My training, I'm a political scientist with training and degrees and studies in international law, international human rights law, and gender and development issues, both here and abroad. I have been a consultant for the United Nations on human rights issues, and been a visiting scholar at the Peace Research Institute in Oslo, Norway for 5 years, working on human rights, women, and peace issues. I have also held leadership positions in various non-governmental organizations such as Amnesty International USA, Human Rights Advocates, and the Women's Intercultural Network. I am an official accredited non-governmental organization representative to the UN representing human rights advocates. So I enjoy working with the LLM students here at the law school, and I have gotten to work with such fantastic students who are now alums, such as our illustrious alumna today, Daniela Morrison. And Daniela, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Thank you, Julianne. Thank you, Olivera. Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, or good evening. I'm here in New York, despite my background of the Golden Gate Bridge. My name is Daniela Morrison. I am Italian, and I have been living in the United States for now 21 years in August. And I am a partner at the law firm of Valla and Associates, Inc. PC. It's a law firm based in San Francisco and New York, and I manage the New York office.
And so, Daniela, what were you doing before you came to our LLM program? And as you say, you're from Italy, so what were you doing before you came?
Right. Before I came, I was an LLM, a law student in Palermo, Italy, where I am from. I had graduated and received my JD from the University Law School in Palermo, my hometown. And coming from a civil law system, right after graduation, so law students have to take 2 years of internship at a law firm. And then after completion of that 2-year intern at a law firm, they may sit for the bar exam in Italy. I had completed at the time, 20 years ago, my 2 years of internship. And then I did not take the bar exam in Italy because I moved to the United States in San Francisco, California. Mm-hmm. So that was my my background information on what I was doing before.
And so what were some of your goals in obtaining an LLM degree when you applied to USF?
When I applied to USF, my goal was to gain that title that would allow me to sit for the bar exam, because since I was not an attorney in my home country, and having a JD from a civil law system jurisdiction, I didn't have the requirements to take the bar exam. A colleague of mine who was working at the firm when I was a paralegal, had an LLM degree. She was an attorney in Italy, and she was telling me great things about the Master of Law for foreign students, because it will give you the ability to take the credits that you need to sit for the bar exam. And I did that, and I was able to take the New York bar exam right after graduation in 2006. And my LLM program was the International Transactions and Comparative Law at the USF School of Law.
And so let's talk a bit about your experiences while you were an actual student here at the USF in terms of what expectations you had about the program, what courses were most interesting to you, and what experiences while you were a student were influential
Yes.
in your career.
I have fond memories of my time at USF. I'm very grateful to the school, to the faculty, the professors, because to be honest, I had no idea what I was going to experience, because it was a new experience for me coming from a foreign country with a different legal system. I didn't really know what to expect. So I remember that it was a mixed emotions. I was nervous, but I was excited, and I told myself I need to have an open mind and just really embrace this new experience and make the most of it. I remember the professors being very available and friendly. I remember meeting my property professor, Professor Iglesias, at the time, and he told me, well, just call me by my first name, which is something so totally unexpected, because from where I come from is just different. So, and that put me in a position where I felt more comfortable and I felt at ease. I remember studying, practicing, and being able to reach out to the professors when I had questions, and they've always been available and very, very helpful to me.
And Daniela, you mentioned that you wanted to qualify to take a bar exam here in the US, and that's one of the reasons that you came to our LLM program. And I know that once you met with your academic advisor, right when you came here during orientation week, that you took bar tested courses. I know you took things like contracts, evidence, and courses like that would help you prepare for the bar exam. And that's what a number of our LLM students do who have the same goal.
Yes, absolutely. You're absolutely right, Julianne. I remember that my ultimate goal was to practice law in the United States, and I focused on courses that would be on the bar exam. So I took contracts, I took evidence, I took property, and that helped me not only for the bar exam, but also after qualifying as an attorney to practice law, because contracts, for example, I think it's fundamental. Either the student is going to be a transactional attorney or a litigator, you need to have that basic knowledge of contracts, because you're going to find it. There's a breach of contract. You need to know the theories underlying any breach of claim, for breach of contract, for example. So to me, if I were the advice that I can give to my peer students or prospective students for USF, for the LLM program, would be based on your goal. Just picture yourself in 2 years or 3 years. So what are you going to do after graduation? If your main goal is to remain in the United States or go back to your country and still practicing law and having ties with the United States, really take courses that will help you doing that.
So this is a good way to transition, Daniela, to what you did after you got your degree, and in terms of your job search afterwards, and your progression up the what I call the corporate ladder of what have you in your present job. So talk a bit about your job search, what networking you might have done, and things like that, Daniela.
Yes, I was fortunate enough because I was already working at a law firm at the time I started my LLM program. So right after graduation, I remained with the same law firm, and I transitioned from the paralegal position to a law clerk. And then after taking and passing the bar exam, I became an associate counsel at the same firm. So I already had a job in a law firm, but I can tell you from my experience with other students, foreign students, they are great at networking, the word of mouth, or they just do, like a Google search and they Google for attorneys from Brazil, if they're Brazilian, or from Italy, if they are Italian, who practice in the United States. And every week I receive CVs from international students who would love to practice law in the United States, and they're curious to learn about my experience and what I did. So networking definitely is important. Also important is the Office of Career Services at the university. It's great. It's always available, and I think it's a good resource for students who would like to have a job in the United States as an attorney or at a law firm.
Right, and Daniela, you stress the importance of networking, because some of our incoming students have not had that much of an experience networking in their home countries, but when they come here, we help them prepare them for all of the networking activities and events that the Office of Career Services here at the law school and their professors and their advisors have, and that the students participate in. So that is very important in terms of what they want to do after they get their LLM degree. Now, Daniela, tell us a bit more about your current position today and what some of your responsibilities are and how you incorporate your LLM experience into your work.
Yes. Today, I'm the Executive Vice President and Principal in charge of the New York office. I work with international clients for the most part. I am, by the way, a transactional attorney. I'm not a litigator. And I assist many foreign companies, the majority of which are Italian, to start a business in the United States. And how do you start a business? First of all, incorporating your company in the US. So I help them with the corporate formation or incorporation of their entities, US entities, and anything that is related to the corporate aspect. Contracts, so providing contract support for those companies here in the United States. HR, helping them hiring and handling all the HR aspects in the United States, which is very different when you come from a foreign country. Immigration, so helping them with business visa applications when they would like to transfer their personnel from Italy or from another country here in the United States. I also handle the registration of trademarks in the United States or extension of international registered trademarks here in the US. So everything that can really help a company to establish a presence in the United States. How did the LLM help me in that? Well, definitely I cannot stress enough how important it is to take courses that are key in your professional development as an attorney in the United States. So first of all, I really am grateful to Professor Garvey for being my contracts professor. He taught me very well, and all the things that I learned, I basically encounter them on a daily basis when I review a contract, any theory underlined there, and also how can I draft a contract in order to protect myself in the future and avoid litigation or being stronger in a litigation context. So contracts, absolutely, to me, it's number one. You always need to have a contract, both courses. So contracts 1 and contracts 2, to me, honestly, it makes sense if you take both contracts courses and not just one, or starting with 2 and not taking 1. It's not advisable to me. And then, I'm also, another course that I really enjoyed was the American legal system that is mandatory for LLM students. And I love it because it gave me a background, a general overview of the American legal system, constitutional law, contracts, everything that is related to the practice of law, but not only the practice of law. I found it like being very practical because it had all the questions that you have when you are in a foreign country and you're approaching the legal system. I thought it was a very well organized and informative course.
And so what advice would you give prospective LLM students about either how to prepare themselves for their degree or prepare for a bar exam or any other thoughts that you might have?
First of all, always keep a positive attitude and an open mind. That, I think, is fundamental, not only when you study, but in life. And then absolutely train yourself to study for the LLM program or at an American university, because it's different from other universities. For example, where I came from, it's a civil law jurisdiction, and there were no written exams. Everything was an oral exam. So I was, memorizing and then taking the exam, regurgitating everything that I'd learned, and that was it. When you come to the US, the approach is totally different. You have to time yourself. You're not going to have 3 hours to prepare and do an essay. You have a half an hour, 15 minutes, whatever it is. So it's important that, number one, you know how to approach the exam. So practice, test. And then 2, time yourself. If you are supposed to complete that particular task in 30 minutes, make sure that your alarm is set for 30 minutes and then stop. That's what you want to do when approaching not just the LLM program and taking the exams, but also for the bar exam. It's really, really important. And that's not something that they teach you. At least they didn't teach that where I came from.
Right, but as you say, Daniela, this is the type of training that you get when you come to the LLM program here at USF, whether it's how to take a law exam. We have classes on that within the American legal system thing, and whether or not if you're taking a bar exam, we have the academic and bar exam success program here. But I think before we open it up to questions, that you can see how valuable an alumna Daniela is in terms of her experiences as a student. But when we get prospective students and applicants and stuff, we connect them with alums like Daniela, to ask questions about their experiences, to share experiences about what she has talked about today. So thank you very much, Daniela and Olivera.
If I may,
Oh,
there is one more thing that I just remembered that I took. I cannot remember if it is the legal writing, the name of the course that really helped me with practicing the performance test. That is part of the bar exam. Either if it's New York or California, it's part of the bar exam. And I remember that was very, very helpful. So that's another food for thought.
you might be talking about the legal ethics class that I know that you took when you were here, or today it's called professional responsibility that the students take. And so I'm going to turn it over to Olivera.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you, Daniela. It was amazing to hear your advice and perspective. And I know that we have some applicants. We also have some admitted students that have joined us today and been chatting with us. One question that you touched on a little bit is both of you about networking. And we often get, why is networking so important in the US? Because it's not in every culture. So maybe you can share, I'll rephrase the question to say, if I'm new to a region, to San Francisco, to the university, and I don't have a strong network, what tips would you suggest to a newly admitted LLM student to start building their network? Because we know the LLM program is only 1 year. So it's very important that they start early. And maybe after Daniela speaks, Julianne, you and I can chime in on some of the things that we do with our students.
Yes, definitely. Networking, as you said, is very important. And I see that the more you do it, the more comfortable you become in joining events and really introducing yourself to people that you don't know. It may be intimidating at first, that you really don't know what to do, how to do it, but then it becomes more, you feel more comfortable in doing it as you do it. I would definitely start with the students. So I think that's the first group of people that you're going to get acquainted with and share their experience. And they may have already contacts, has it happened to me, and they used to invite me to events, and I remember at first I didn't know what to do, but I went anyway, and I noticed that people are genuinely curious to know and hear about you, and if they can help, they can do that, and they will do it. So it's definitely important. Otherwise, you may have all the degrees that you want, but if you don't put yourself out there, it's really difficult then to have your group of contacts, and it doesn't mean that you have to use them to gain an advantage, but it's really nice to share your experience with people who come from the same background. So definitely for students or prospective students who don't have contacts, the first group of people is the students, so your classmates, and I would start from there. That's what I did, at least.
Yeah, wonderful. Julianne, do you want to add anything?
Right, and as we've said this morning, we know that our students come from around the world, from different cultures. Some where they might do more networking than others. But what we do when we come here, our counselors, the professors, and the staff members like Olivera and I work with them in terms of making them feel more comfortable about networking. And we attend these networking events with them. And if I see one of the LLM students sort of standing back in a corner or what have you, I sort of go over and then we sort of work our way around the room, and I will introduce them to, let's say, a law partner or a judge or what have you, and then do that. And Daniela, you're saying with practice comes more comfort in doing this. So we help with that here at the law school.
Yeah, and I want to add, if they have no contact, they can start with me. So they can feel free to email me, and I will be happy to help and answer questions.
And Daniela, I know you even do that in the New York area. You work with mentoring women in business and finance. That's some of your activities. So you're even doing this as part of the work that you do in New York City, in addition to being at the company.
Right.
Oh, please.
Oh no, I wanted to say yes, that's true. It's a program from a university in Milan, and they also have international students, women, and I've been mentoring them. When they approach the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. So we are right at time, but what I have done is I've left in the chat the link to book an appointment with either Julianne or myself and our email. So if you are interested in, well, for those of you who are admitted or attending, we welcome you. We hope this gave you a little bit more perspective about the wonderful alums that we have in our program. For those of you that are considering the program, please feel free to reach out if you have any questions. And Daniela, thank you so much for your time today. It is truly inspiring and heartwarming to hear about your journey, and then also to know that you are there for our program and our students. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. It was my pleasure, and I really hope that whoever is listening or will listen will take an advantage of this webinar.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye.